This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, welcome America. That's right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is the Cajun contractor, Michael King. I'd like to welcome my co-host. She's sitting right next to me, Miss Rita Crompton, the Inventor Lady herself. Hey, Miss Rita, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, I am doing great, and I am so glad to be here with you.
Great. Well, Rita, what's going on? You've been on for the past 4 weeks talking about the Inventors of America, and it's been a real hit among my audience and the network to try to help out these young inventors, and eventually, if the product is really, if they have a want and a need, that we can kind of push them over the finish line and get them to where this great technology can hit the market. So that's the whole goal, ain't it?
It is. And one of the things that I've learned over the last 15 years is that everyone at any age has the potential of being a great American inventor. And so we want to provide, as you know, our goal is to provide them with good resources and good, accurate information and the experience of some of our inventors over the last couple of decades that have made it into the marketplace. But I think, you know, some of what those inventors share every week is the different stages and problems that they've solved themselves. And the best way for new inventors to learn is like, well, I don't want to make that mistake. You know, how did this guy fix it? And so our resources that we offer to all of the inventors out there, because everyone in America can be an inventor, and it's wonderful.
That's right. It's just like setting a path for success, and you can't do 2 till you do 1. You can't do 3 till you do 2. You understand? It's like a blueprint path, kind of, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know where your next step is going to be, if you don't have kind of the roadmap, you get lost. And I have talked to so many inventors who've spent precious dollars too soon and wastefully, and then when they need them, they don't have them. And so our goal is to be able to coach those inventors on what are the first dollar to spend, how do you squeeze every ounce of energy out of a dollar so that when you need those dollars down the road a little bit, you still have some left. Because inventing, you know, it's not cheap. It's going to cost money. And one of our taglines has always been, don't spend a dime till it's time, but when it's time, you got to step up to the plate.
Well, we have 3 great new inventors lined up. Can we go over some of the, before we take a break, who we're going to have on the show?
Absolutely. Jacob Morrise is going to be our first inventor. He's out of Utah. He's got 10 kids, so you can imagine his products are generally around his children. And his first one absolutely is. It is a MicroFold Stroller. So it folds up to be about the third of a size of what some of the other strollers in the market do. The other one is Duane Genzlinger. Duane has been to the National Hardware Show with us a couple of times. We want to encourage inventors out there, if you've got a product, go to the show with us. He's got a contractor's product that's, for the do-it-yourselfer, just in your normal lineup. Our third guest today is Ezra Roper. He is the president and CEO of and he just changed the name of the company. Red Spark Manufacturing, also out of Utah. And he helps the inventors with all the phases of prototyping and then getting the product to market, the packaging and everything. So he's going to be a wonderful resource for our inventors today.
So it's not only the inventor that's going to be on the line today, it's going to be kind of a consultant, I call it a natural-born entrepreneur.
Right, exactly, because he's been doing this for a long time. This is the company that he owns and helps inventors. I've known him for a long time. And, having our experts handy for us and then being able to join us at our meetings. So, even though our listeners can't call in, they can go to our virtual meetings from anywhere in the country and be able to then to talk to our speakers. They'll be able to talk to our experts and ask the questions that they're just, waiting to get some information on.
Well, just shortly, we're going to have Jacob Morrise, you said, MicroFold Stroller. Great.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Give us an update. What's happening during the week? Anything going on? Any earth-shattering news that we need to know about?
Well, for us, the biggest thing right now is just being able to get everybody teed up for the hardware show. So we've still got some spots to fill. That's our big one. But now, that we've gotten the website and everything going, for the inventors out there that want to go in and register to be one of our guests, to go in and give us their information so we can get in contact with them. And that way then, all of our listeners out there have the potential of, being someone that is giving other inventors information.
Well, I want to also mention what is the process that you set in place, because I get a lot of tweets. They love the show. How can I'm thinking about, I have this idea without getting too much in detail about the idea. And we tell people, anyway, you shouldn't come on this show unless you maybe have a patent pending or something to protect you, because we don't want to expose your idea to the country. Right. And then have somebody steal it. You understand? So
right. And if they go to Inventor Lady and they can click on the media segment of that, it comes right up and it says, you need to be patent pending, and this is how you get there. We will sign a non-disclosure, non-compete. So if somebody gets in touch with me, sends an email, we'll send back a non-disclosure, non-compete, sign it, start, giving you some of those free resources. The Inventor's Galaxy Guide is free. You can learn about all the steps out there. It takes about 30 minutes to go through it, so it's not, an overwhelming chore to read through this. And then it talks about those first steps. What do you do? How do you plug into the Inventors Roundtable so you can be able to ask your questions? And those things that are just, some time and energy to put in the website, click on the different links, and then go and find the resources. So they're out there and they're waiting for everybody.
Well, not only you're asking to get the inventors on, on the show, but if it's a professional service company, maybe not, like you said, I think Mr. Roper's company, something like that, where your professional company or something that is pretty much experienced in this line of education, we invite you to come on the show also, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And for, different buyers that want to get these products, now we're a resource for them to get other products into the marketplace. And all they have to do is reach out to me.
Well, great. What is that website, Rita?
InventorLady.com.
All right, there's the music. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to be right back. This is the Cajun contractor, Michael King. You're listening to the Home Talk USA radio program. Also tuning in to the Invent America segment of this show, where we try to help out the up-and-coming inventors. So we're going to take a short break. Please visit our website at hometalkusa.com. Also, you can also visit the inventorlady.com. We're going to have Mr. Jacob Morrise with MicroFold Stroller. So this is the Cajun contractor, Michael King, along with my co-host, the Inventor Lady, Miss Rita Crompton. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Yay!
USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HometalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HometalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, hey, welcome back. That's right. Don't forget we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. You can also go to our websites, 2 websites we're going to give you, the HometalkUSA.com, and you can also go to the InventorLady.com. All right. Along with my guest, Rita Crompton, I want to introduce Mr. Jacob Morrise. He is with MicroFold Stroller. Jacob's on the line right now. Hey, Mr. Jacob, how you doing, my buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, Jacob, let me ask you this right quick. You are a mechanical product designer, since 2006?
Yeah, I've got a couple degrees in mechanical engineering and have been designing mostly consumer products for the last dozen and a half years or so.
Oh, Jacob, what's exactly you did invent, though?
Oh, so I have 10 kids, and we've had a lot of strollers over the years, and I got sick of how big they were, so I decided to make a stroller that was much smaller, could be carried around easily, and really compact. So I've got my MicroFold Stroller that folds down to a little less than a third the size of the smallest one on the market right now.
Well, good for you, Jacob. You know, today we're talking about prototyping, and I've talked to so many inventors over the years, and they'll tell me it's like, well, I made my first one out of Play-Doh or Legos or whatever they could find sitting around. And the prototyping process, there's a lot of steps in it, first of all, but how did you build your first one? When you say, oh, there has got to be a better way to do a stroller, what sparked you then to build that first prototype?
I actually, it's an interesting story. I had told a few people about this and said, hey, I'm pretty sure I can make it about this small, and they said, prove it. And so I've got CAD software because I do a lot of product design myself, and so I did some CAD work and had to go out and just find what was available. So I bought a couple of pieces of luggage at Walmart and pulled some handle parts off of that. Stole a couple of the wheels off of my kid's little wheelie kind of things and started putting stuff together I've got about 10 3D printers, so I started printing stuff off and slapping those things together and had my first prototype that worked okay.
And, you know, I do hear that story from time to time that parents will take apart kids' toys or something like that and put it together in a new way so that they've got now a functioning prototype.
Yep.
Yeah, Jacob, this is Mr. King. Let me ask you this now. So prototype, so basically what you did, you put it on a piece of paper. Well, first of all, you had to think about it. Then you had to put it on a piece of paper. And then the next step, if I'm reading this correctly, is to try to develop some type of prototype, right?
Yeah, so a lot of what I did was kind of look at, okay, how do other small things fold up? What's out there, and ended up buying different pieces of things and walking around Walmart and looking at my kids' stuff and saying, hey, that's kind of interesting, and maybe I could adapt this or that or the other, and then stole some pieces, printed off a bunch of stuff on my 3D printer, and started kind of see how it would go together and if it would actually function.
Well, Jacob, now how many versions of this type of prototype did you do before you felt you had really something serious? Because it's like planning and failing, and it just doesn't work. So how many prototypes it took you to get to the end result here?
That's a good question. So probably about 5. One of the interesting things, so I didn't want to go and buy all the stuff again. The luggage was like $50 and didn't want to go buy more wheels, and so I made an initial prototype and then use that to make additional prototypes and kind of cannibalize it. And so I did that probably 5 times, and then finally bought new stuff and went and made a much more finished-looking prototype, a couple of those.
So, what kind of advice would you have for that early-stage inventor who's saying, oh, I've got an idea? How would you advise them to get started?
So if you've got some, first thing is a good functioning prototype. People always forget that it doesn't need to look good, and it doesn't need to be all custom. So if you're basically the first prototype you're getting, you're just trying to prove out that this thing's going to work. And so if you have to go and cut up a 5-gallon bucket to get pieces or whatever it is, just make it as easy as you can. Don't bother going through all the steps of getting a really good design, but pull things off of existing stuff. Walk around Walmart and see if you can find things that are going to kind of fit for what you want that you can tweak and build it up out of parts and pieces, just to show that you can get it to work.
Yeah, it's what we refer to frequently as the proof of concept. It doesn't matter how it looks, it doesn't need to be all polished, but it just needs to work the way you want it to work so that you've got something then to take to the next step.
Well, I'm sorry, Jake.
I was just going to say, we always said studying was always prototype early and often. Because you can have it on the computer, you can have it in drawings, and you can hope it works, but you don't really know if it works until you actually build something and test it out.
That's right, many times. But I like the idea of going down to the box stores, Walmart, maybe Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever box store you have, and kind of look at what's on the shelves that's equivalent or something that's similar to what you have. It might not be exact, but maybe parts and things like that, right?
Yeah, I've told many people working at those stores when they come and ask if they can help me, what are you looking for? I said, I don't really know. I'll know it when I see it. So I spent a lot of time walking up aisles and been like, yes, that thing will kind of work, and I'll buy it and go and take it apart.
Well, Jacob, we got to run. We got to up against the clock here. We want a hard break. Give us that website. How can we learn more about your company, the MicroFold Stroller?
So my company, it's called MorriseProducts.com. MORRISE products.com. Just go there, and it's on there, and you can contact me from that.
Say it one more time.
Oh, MorriseProducts.com. If you go on there, you can contact me from there, and happy to talk to anybody about my prototype and about whatever they want.
Oh, Jake, thank you so much for being our guest, okay?
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you much.
All right, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to be right back right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, we are streaming live at the Genesis Communication Radio Network, along with my co-hosts. That's right, the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. We're going to come back with another guest, another topic. I think it's Duane Genzlinger with the box slider will be our next guest on this segment of the show, the Invent America series. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back. That's right, along with my co-host, Miss Rita Crompton, the Inventor Lady herself. Don't forget that we do podcast this show. We are available 24/7, 365. You can catch our show 3 ways, to be honest with you. You can go to the network website at gcnlive.com. you can go to the inventorlady.com. Now, if you go to inventorlady.com, she has the Invent America segments on her website, but you can also get everything through the HometalkUSA.com website. So it's 3 ways of getting it. But again, most importantly, it's available to you 24/7, 365. If you happen to miss the radio, a live version of the show on the weekend, you can always catch it during the week. So, Rita, I tell you, our last guest, Jacob Morrise with MicroFold, he was a great guest, wasn't he? He's really a real entrepreneur, I call it.
He is. I've known him for a while. He actually does some patent drawings for some of our attorneys. So
Wow.
That's always great to be able to have people who are walking in multiple steps down this path. And with us right now is Duane and Jerry from Hammerscale Homes. And they have been to the National Hardware Show with us a couple of times and will be there again this year. So if you want to meet them, you need to join us. But they started a construction company together about 3 years ago building custom homes in Colorado. But they've both been in the industry for decades and helping, people enjoy their dream homes coming to life. And so now they're working on products over the years, where it would make their jobs easier and certainly for the do-it-yourselfers. So with me right now are Duane and Jerry in Colorado. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, how are you doing, Rita?
Great, and I'm so glad that you joined us. So, Duane, tell us a little bit about, like I said, I know you've got a couple of products there. So tell us a little bit about, what you've got and what you've invented.
Well, it's the box slider, electrical outlets, with the wider trim and everything. The cutting the plates, it's just not an option anymore. This goes into the box and moves the whole fixture over, so you don't have to cut the plates. And you can never do a good job of cutting the plates. And plus, it just looks out of place. So we've just kind of we also got a snapper and a snap clip that we've developed. And one is a one-man chalk box. The other one is the other end of the chalk box.
And both of these products are, great for the contractors, but they're wonderful for the person doing the job themselves. And today we're talking about prototyping. Jerry, how important was that first? Oh, I've got an idea. Getting it then into a prototype that was more of a proof of concept, not just an idea.
Well, that's really the biggest step in the innovation process is to get a working prototype. And when you look at all of our ideas and you take them from the original prototype, what that looked like, which in the case of the snapper was just a chunk of wood with a string attached to it. And then you look at it a year later when it's finally done, it's amazing how much difference there is.
Let me ask you,
went through about 20 different varieties of snappers too.
So that first prototype was very important. It was like really had to get a real good foundation, a real good prototype in that situation in your particular product. That's what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we did everything with 3D printing after that.
Wow. Now, what advice would you have, for other new inventors that's taking your experience and what you went through to get it from, a thought to on paper to actually get that prototype? And then explain where you're at in the process now. Is it available now, or are you still on your prototype stage?
Well, it is available now. I think the hardest thing is just getting it out on the market. To get it into the public so people can see it and use it, and that's where Rita comes in.
So
right,
what
Rita?
advice do you give somebody? Yeah, it is, and that's why we go to the hardware show, and that'll be a topic for another day. But, on that prototyping stage, what advice would you give another inventor who's saying, I'm done with the duct tape and cardboard version of it. What's next?
Well, we did a lot of carving. We did plastic. We did tape, put tape together, 3D printing. It's not a cheap cheap way to go. But you got to believe in it and go for it.
Yep, you do. And that's where we get so many inventors at the hardware show. A lot of them, Michael, will just come with a prototype and patent pending status to the show. And then others come with inventory, like Duane and Jerry. They'll have inventory. They can do sales and take orders from the show. So it's wonderful to see our inventors, kind of grow up through the process of, I have an idea, what do I do now, to I can take orders.
Well, Duane, can I pick your brain a minute? I mean, because I've talked about in the past, once you get to that stage where it's ready to distribute, the biggest question that you have to ask yourself, do you want to license the product or do you want to go ahead and distribute the product yourself? Did you face that dilemma?
Well, we're still going through that.
Okay.
You either, you want to go into the manufacturing mode, and, that's costly. Where you can just license it and, have somebody else do all that kind of work, because you got to get the molds and, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Injection molding and, 3D printing is, that's an expensive route as well.
Well, Duane, we're out of time, my friend. I hate to cut you off, but I want to get that website. How can we learn more about the box slider?
Well, the box slider is on YouTube. It's on the YouTube. Innovation Specific LLC.
And it's also on the Inventor Lady website, so just go to Inventor Lady. You can find it.
And I see hammerskillhomes.com too, right? Mm-hmm. And inventorlady.com. All right, well, we can find you. Duane, I want to thank you. Man, thank you for the little tips you gave us. We got to take a short break. Duane Genzlinger with the box slider. Thank you, Duane.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to step away. That's right. We got to pause for the cause. Me and the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton, we're going to be back with the very best in home improvement information education and also education for all your inventors out there. So we're going to have, let's see, Ezra Roper with the Red Spark Company. Going to have some great tips for us, for you. And so we're going to be right back. Don't go nowhere. Yahee!
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, hey, that's right. Welcome back to the #1 most listened to and downloaded. That's right. I want to use that word, downloaded, home improvement show on the air today. We got some websites you can actually go to. The main website is HomeTalkUSA.com. Also, if you want to learn a little bit about the Inventor Lady herself, it's Rita Crompton. You can go to InventorLady.com. And we have a great archives of the Invent America topics that we discuss. So you can also visit that at, again, InventorLady.com. Rita, I tell you, Duane, the box slider, it was a great guest, and we're talking about prototypes, the prototype phases, right, Rita?
Exactly. Prototyping is really one of the big steps in the inventing process. You have to be able to get proof of concept. And so one of our experts, our go-tos in that phase is Ezra Roper, Red Spark Company. He has been wonderful working with inventors from that it's like, this is where I'm at and this is where I need to get to. So his expertise and all of the engineers who work for him are very empathetic in the way they work with the inventors, and I'm always very grateful when I send an inventor to them. So, Ezra, thank you so much for joining us today, and we want to be able to find out a little bit about the business that you oversee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. My company is called Red Spark Company, and we help design and engineer and develop and manufacture consumer products for people and inventors of all types.
So, Ezra, tell us about, at what point, what's the best time for an inventor to be able to come to you? And I realize that, inventors come in at all levels of expertise, where maybe they're bringing you something made out of Play-Doh, and maybe they're bringing something that they did off a rapid prototype machine in their garage. But tell us a little bit about those early steps. That's what we're talking about today.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think, when you're just starting out with the process, you'll soon realize that there's actually more than 1 to 100, right? There's millions of steps along the way, and so surrounding yourself from the very beginning with professionals that can help dial in or clear in, right, the blurred vision that you might see as an inventor, looking at all the massive steps that you have to take and trying to pick the right way and find the right service provider to work with. And so I'd say from the very beginning, just start surrounding yourself with someone that's been there, done that, right? And these aren't people that you have to pay. They're interested enough. They should be interested enough in what you're doing that they'll, and they've been down the road, so they're happy to help and give pointers on what you need to do. Basically, when I don't think it's too early to start talking to an engineering team, especially when you're talking, design for manufacturing, because you'd be surprised how many inventors come to us and they say, I have a patent and I need to get this product manufactured. And then we go through, several months of designing and prototyping, and we're conformed and constricted based on their patent they already have. And it's really unfortunate, right? So I would begin working with an engineer and working on the design manufacturing before you have a patent, because there's no point in spending money that you don't need to, right? So.
Right, and I think that, some of that is, they'll file a provisional patent application. We're going to talk about more of the patent stuff next week, but they do a provisional and then come to, an engineering company or someone that can give them that early stage advice, so that before, like you said, the patent issues, because I've run into that as well. It's like, my patent is issued, now what? And when they start talking to someone like you, now the patent doesn't cover the end product. And so explain to our audience the difference between that proof of concept prototype and the manufacturer's prototype, because I think a lot of times they don't really understand.
Yep. Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, so the first thing, before you start spending tons of money in DFM, which is design for manufacturing, you need to focus on the proof of concept, right? We're talking very, very simple prototypes, ones that you could make out of cardboard or styrofoam or 3D print, right?
Right.
Using very simple products that don't cost a lot of money, that will allow you to get these products into people's hands to test, right? To hold and to say, oh, I could totally use this, right?
Ezra, I hate to interrupt you, my friend. We're going to have to stop the segment. We got to take a short break. So sorry, but give us that website, Ezra. How can we learn more about the Red Spark Company?
Yeah, it's just redsparkcompany.com.
Say it again.
redsparkcompany.com.
And we'll definitely get you back in the near future, and we'll finish this conversation. But thank you so much for being our guest, okay?
Thanks, Mr. King. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Ezra Roper with the Red Spark Company. Check his website out right quick at the redsparkcompany.com. We're going to have to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up. We got some exciting news we're going to be talking about, and some upcoming guests and topics right here at the Home Talk USA radio program with the Invent America segment, along with my guest, Rita Crompton. This is Home Talk USA. I'll be right back. Yay!
To Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back. Don't forget, we are streaming live on the World Wide Web at HomeTalkUSA.com. Also on our network website at GCNlive.com. That's GCNlive.com. Rita, we had a great show, great guests. Jack Morrise, MicroFolder, Duane Genzlinger, the box slider, Ezra Roper with the Red Spark Company. Who we have next week? We got some exciting news that's going to be coming up too, right?
We do, because next week we're going to talk about the USPTO. And everybody always has questions. They're kind of that big entity out there, and they get to pass judgment on what gets filed. So I think it's time when we talk, to all the inventors out there, to give them some hints about how to use the USPTO and what to expect. So we're going to get a couple of different representatives, some inventors that have gone through the process and their patent is issued, and what was, some of the magic that they had to do to get it done, and then talk to some folks who work for the USPTO in their outreach program about the resources.
All right, well, we did prototyping. We're definitely going to have to come back and do another show on prototyping because it's just impossible to do the show in an hour on prototyping. But next week, it's patents. This week, prototyping. Next week, patents. So stay tuned right here. Rita, we're out of time. That's the music. The producers are saying we got to go pay some bills. Rita Crompton, Thank you again. And we're going to see y'all next week.
King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolificarts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonide, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of Instabind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deckrite, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!